Spouse probably cheated on me 25 years ago, does it matter now? About 25 years ago I was in the military and was on a 2-year assignment a day's drive from where my 38-years-old wife and I lived. We had been married about 20 years at that point. So I only came home on the weekends. After the first year, wife started telling to just stay there and not come home until my assignment finally ended. I refused and continued coming home on the weekends. She started treating me very coldly and not wanting to be intimate on those weekends. Then after another 3 or 4 months she started randomly accusing of cheating on her and continued being cold towards me. When my remote assignment ended, I was given orders overseas for 3 years. So I started preparing to rent out our house and move my wife and teenaged sons. My wife constantly fought with me about it, saying she did not want to go and that I should go by myself. Also during this transition she was still cold and distant. My kids wanted to go, so she finally agreed to go. Once we got to the new location she started constantly finding fault with everything with me and the location. So after 6 months there I received permission to move her and my kids back home at the end of the year. The next 6 months was cordial at best. She was still cold but allowed some intimacy about once a week. As the end of the year drew closer she became excited about moving back and withdrew from me again. She stayed withdrawn from me for the last month or so. I took 2 weeks leave about a week after she departed with the kids and went back home to help out. After about 3 hours of arriving she was telling me to just leave and go back to my base. I stayed for about 10 days and returned to my base overseas. I was there for another 2.5 years. I would go home about every 4 months for 10 days and be treated the same way as I was the first time. We would be intimate maybe twice in those 10 days, but I got a feeling she was doing it out of a feeling of obligation rather than desire. Also she acted as if she wasn't really happy I was there and even stated she would like it better if I did not come back home until my time overseas was finished. For that remaining year and a half she remained cold and distant when I visited and whenever I would call her to see if all was okay. If I mentioned I had went to a cookout or bowling she would accuse me of cheating and hang up. She would also constantly tell me everything was my fault and was always in her way of doing what she wanted. After I finally got transferred back the coldness and distance remained. After 6 months back I moved out. I stayed gone and even told her that if that is the way she was going to be I wanted a divorce. So she agreed to marriage counseling. We went, but it was mostly a joke. She blamed her coldness and distance on me not understanding her and what she wanted. So I moved back home and just ignored it from then on.